What does it look like to be a winner? I was thinking about this week, and then all of a sudden the answer was obvious to me. Tom Brady and Bill Belichick. Wouldn't it be so much easier to be a Patriots fan? We won't go into that. Right, they're winners. And they're winners at any cost, as we know. And a winner in winning's all about competition and beating others. The gospel here tells us something very contrary. The whole idea of winning and losing is completely opposite to what we usually think about these things. And the competition is not with others, but with self. It's all about self-mastery. In fact, Jesus would invite us to understand that we must be winners by losing. Be winners by losing. Well, what does that mean? Well, let's go into the parable. Back in the ancient times, and probably in areas all around the world still to this day, people would come in and gather into the village, and there they hope to get hired for the day. You see, most people in this world have lived hand to mouth. And if they get there early, and if they're lucky enough to be chosen, then they would have a meal that night, and they could feed their families. That's just the norm for most people in this world. And you can imagine what it's like for those who were chosen that morning at 6 o'clock. A few were chosen. They probably looked at the others and said to themselves, "Ha ha, I'm chosen and they're not. Lucky me." Think about how it must have felt for those who were not chosen. Can you imagine the dread that was in their hearts, thinking about their little ones at home? Well, at 9 o'clock, the owner came and he picked some more. They're probably pretty happy about that, don't you think? And the same thing happened at 12 o'clock and 3 o'clock. And finally at 7 o'clock, they all come in for their wages. And then here is the great surprise. All these parables always have a bang to it, something that's totally unexpected. And this bang is this. The owner of the vineyard gave everyone the same amount of money. Can you imagine that? He wasn't playing fair by the rules. But whose rules? Well, the rules of competition. Can you imagine the people who were working all day long? They were the first chosen. They deserve more than those who worked only for a few hours. What's happened here is that the winners became losers. Matter of fact, in verse 15, we see what Jesus teaches about this parable. Am I not allowed to do what I choose, what belongs to me? Or do you begrudge my generosity? That phrase, begrudge my generosity, actually means literally, your eye is evil because I am good. What we have here is a bad eye-heart relationship because our hearts really see through our physical eyes what our hearts can see. And if they're evil, then, here you cannot be happy for the good fortune of others. Something's really wrong with you. Arrogance can only be happy if it crushes its foes. And God responds to this by reversals. He raises the lowly. You know, I actually got a trophy once in my life. I did. It was a senior in high school, you know, we were on a church basketball team. And at the end of the year, I got the most valuable player trophy. Now, I was playing center, and I was not the best player on the team. I know that. Matter of fact, there were 4 guys, the 2 forwards and the 2 guards, who were far better than me. They were really athletes. I'm not an athlete. And so for years, I've often thought, how was it that I got to be the most valuable player? And I figured it out. They all voted for themselves. And the 2 or 3 guys that are on the bench, they voted for me. I wasn't the best player. As a matter of fact, I've always felt very awkward about that. I didn't deserve this. What an example of God exalting the lowly and bringing down the, the proud, okay? So our competition must not be with others. It must be to master our urge to compare and win. Arrogance is weakness. And it makes losers even when we win. And one of the examples of this is after 4 Super Bowl rings, there's a famous interview with Tom Brady. And the interviewer asked him, you know, what do you do about that old ache inside of you? I mean, did your Super Bowl rings make you happy? Did he fill the void inside? And Tom Brady said, no, not at all. Here is a winner who is really a loser. And he's got 1 more Super Bowl ring since then, and I don't think it changed anything at all. On the other hand, the love of Christ within masters our urge to win and makes us winners even when we lose. It takes power to rejoice in the good things of others that we ourselves do not possess. Be a winner by losing.